Hi, this is Don Devilak. You've reached the fifth video in our series, Going Forward, Starting to Sell. Now, this is called Finding a Small Market and Forming a Beachhead. This is really one of the most important things for inventors to do is to actually get a small spot in the market where you can go out into the marketplace and actually sell your spot product and prove it's successful. It doesn't really matter just how big the market is, only that you have been successful in it. This kind of success is how you can get the money and funding you need to really go out to the market in a big way. It's a very important step in most inventors that they have to start with some spot where they can really manage the funding, get enough products built, get the manufacturing support, and then with success, then you can move forward and really launch your product in a big way. So the first thing you have to do is how do you find a small market that you can really sell to? Now they are almost always a small market that you can go after. So generally they're smaller outlets or maybe even a smaller geographic area. For instance, a smaller outlet be to sell through local scrapwood stores in the Twin City area. That's a very small market, but if you're successful in that market, that would show that you could probably sell throughout the country. You want to go to a market that's very market focused on your ideal users. So if you have a scrapbook product, of course, stores are ideal. Another thing about the market you want to go for is one that has a lot of complementary products to yours. So in other words, you want to have, if your target customers, for instance, a scrapbooker, you want to go to a store that has all the products that scrapbookers want. So very strong complementary products. It's hard to go into a store where there aren't really any complementary products. One of the things you want to do is to read the trade magazines. I've talked about this earlier, but you can still just do a Google search, for instance, scrapbook stores, trade magazines, and the trade magazines for the industry will come up. Go through those magazines, read them, and see what are the markets that people can sell to. If possible, go to a trade show in the market where you can actually go and talk to other small vendors, other small manufacturers, and see what small markets they have used to launch their products or which ones that you could use. Don't be afraid to look for alternative networks, sell to clubs and user groups, even through fundraising groups, any type of a local organization that would take your product. Fundraising groups are particularly good. Schools, PTAs will sell products. You can sell them through Boy Scout groups, Cub Scout groups, and then you have end user groups. For instance, if you have a model airplane club and you have a model airplane product, that's the kind of a club you could sell through. If you have chess products, you could sell through the chess clubs. So clubs and user groups, anything where you can actually go and prove your product will sell. And also in this category is little shows. So like if you have a home and garden show in your town and you have a home and garden product, if you can go to those shows and actually sell your products, that's the way you can actually make money and get ahead. I know that Dr. Juice, who sold this kind of a concoction you put on your hands so that your hands didn't smell like fish, so that all of your fishing lures and lines didn't smell like humans but instead smelled like fish. He had a product and he got his whole start selling just at the local fishing stores in Minnesota, built up a market, and then he was able to take his product nationwide. Internet sites that are very targeted to your customer group are another good spot. So if you have a product for the kitchen and you have home cooking shows, that's a kind of product or a market where you can go on the shows which is very targeted to your group. Crowdfunding is a last resort, more or less, for a small market, but it's being used more and more, especially on reward-based crowdfunding, where people will put up a product and say, if you give us $25, we'll send you one of our first production. And then if they raise a certain amount of money, they'll have much money to move ahead and actually get their product introduced. That would really be counted as a very successful small market, because you had people just come on your site, see it, and give you money and wait for a product to come to them later on. This is just some of the outlets, the smaller outlets we were talking about. local gift shops, local kitchen stores, independent hardware stores, and just because a store has a brand name, for instance, it's True Value or Ace Hardware, those stores are still usually owned by individual owners. And if you go in and talk to that individual owner, often they'll put their product on your shelf, and that's how you can actually, develop a business. Small statewide markets for gift, kitchen products, hardware stores, everybody has them. If you check on your state or you talk to a gift store and ask them where they go to market. And so what happens is there's about 10 gift markets throughout the country. And those gift marts are places where you can go and set up a store and or set up a booth for the local stores, show your product and get like a little local following. Little local ski and bicycle shops is another example. I mean, your products are all probably different, but these are the types of shops you're looking at. Special catalog showrooms or catalog sites or catalogs that still are mailed, and internet sites are also good. And if your product is, works with a TV shopping network, QVC or Home Shopping Network, those are very good ways to go in order to prove that your product will actually sell. And you're just doing that in a smaller target market. It helps build up your funding, but at the same time, it gives you that credibility that allow you to get the resources you need to really jump to the next level. This is what I was talking about a little bit earlier. You want to go with a very market focused stores, and they're focused on the ideal users. Remote control airplane stores, well, if you can get in that store and your product fits that market, you've got a perfect target market. It may not be the biggest market for you, but all you're trying to do at this stage is prove your product will sell so you can get more investor support and more support from your manufacturer. Skin diver stores with specialized products for coral reefs. There's these types of stores, along the coast, and these are ideal stores if you have a product that's good. As I said, scrapbook stores, kitchen product stores, but then you have yoga studios, you have spas, you have going to home and garden stores, you have florist shops, you have independent apparel boutiques. There's many small markets for inventors to attack first that really target their right focus on the target market, going after the target customers that you really want to sell to. So, be open-minded, but look at all the stores, look at all the ways they can sell and really get your product out there. Now, this is sort of stories of success. This is a complementary products. Carl Vandershoot, he invented the light cubes. Now, what this is, it's a little ice cube, but you put in it LED light, and then you freeze them in the freezer, and they get cold, and then you use them for drinks. But then all of a sudden, you have this LED light flashing in your drink. So what Carl did, now how was he going to sell it? He was, there's so many options. This is what makes a product like this tough, is that he could sell it in 100 outlets, but what he was looking for was a complementary product. Where can I put my product that it's really conducive to my product, and there's a lot of products that people who might buy it are looking for. Well, he went with Restoration Hardware. Now, they have a wide line of bar products, and a lot of them are for, more upscale or novelties or amusing for the home bar. And so they had 100 stores. Carl got a deal with them to put his product in the store. They were very successful. But of course, he had to make some initial promises. He offered to take unsold products back. He gave a little longer term, and he did a lot of joint promotions and in-store displays to really show how his product would work. I mean, all of this joint promotion, all these in-store displays detracted from his profitability. But again, he was looking just for that first market where he could get into the marketplace, show his product, and really generate a lot of interest, but more importantly, actually prove the product would sell. Now, the product sold well to bar products in the Restoration line. Then Carl went to the promotional products industry, went to some promotional products shows, and these are shows that you sell products, like if you're a big manufacturer and you want a little gimmick to give to all your employees, or you want some products, you want to send them out to your key customers. And he had quite a few companies pick up his product, sort of a novelty item, sort of a fun item, and companies took them and gave them away at shows. He had a couple of customers who gave 10,000. So again, it was a very small, concentrated market, and he really got that lead because when he was in restoration hardware, he had a couple of people contact him in the promotional industry who were very interested in using it in the promotional products business. You also keep your eyes open for alternative networks, clubs. I talked a little bit about that, remote control clubs. You even have VFWs. All these places that actually do things to raise money. If you give them the product, they can sell it and make 50%. Everybody's a winner. End user groups. Now, with an end user group, you want to offer them the product on private label. In other words, offer them the product with their own name on it. And you don't want to give a suggested retail. You just want to tell them what you'll sell it for and then let them go from there. End user groups, and these can be pretty large groups, across the country. I mean, you see AARP actually selling products with the AARP name, and it's really no different than that people just went in, they made a deal, put the product in there, and AARP sells it for half the money. You have spas, you have salons, you have veterinarians, offices. All of these are candidates for an alternative network where you can put your product in and where it can sell. Again, if you do a private label product, that's best. Put the dentist's name on it or the veterinarian's name on it, or you can just put it in with your name. But I found the more you private label it, make the alternative network feel important, the better they like it. Again, you don't put a suggested retail on the price. You let them go ahead and sell it themselves. Again, all of these are good, solid ways to show your product will sell, build up a little sales momentum, get that manufacturing investor group interested in your product. Fundraisers, this can be really big. You could do schools, PTAs, Boy Scouts. All you do here is you just give them the product, and maybe they sell it at they could be selling it at games, they could be selling it at events, they could be selling it at fairs, and let them make 50% of the profit. Again, though, you just give the product to them, put their name on it if they want, and then let them set their own price. Internet sites are they're just the way people are buying products more and more. Now, Amazon is not exactly the ideal site to go to, but you want to go to sites that are closely tied to the end user. So like Chess Club, there's a Chess Club site. So if you put in for a chess clock, you'll find there's 3 or 4 sites that really are dedicated to chess players. So if you have a chess idea, these are the places to go and sell it. You also have people for gardening sites who are dedicated to a certain type of gardening. Again, they are very good. You want to go to sites sometimes that simulate retail stores in that they have a broad range of products and they categorize their products the way you want them to. So you're in a product category that people will recognize and they'll see your product there. This is a good way to get exposure. And retail store sites are another thing. So like Best Buy products, which is a massive retailer, and getting to Best Buy is tough, but they have a website. Now, retail store sites carry a lot more products than they carry in the store. So if you have a chance to get into a retail store site, you have a chance to prove your product will sell. That really takes you a long way. eBay is another example. You can put it on there for sales. You can go onto newsletter sites that are related. I mean, if you put a product on the newsletter and you let the the newsletter keep 50% of the profits, they're going to find that pretty good deal if your product really appeals to their target group. Also, you should have a Facebook store, and YouTube videos are really, really excellent. Especially when you're on the internet, to have a spot where they can watch a YouTube video is a very compelling sales proposition. It will really help your sales. Now, crowdfunding is one of the newer processes for raising money. Just to give you an idea, Pebble Watch, which is a type of watch that competes with Apple's watches, raised $20 million in what is called reward-based funding. Now, there's two types of funding on crowdfunding. One is what they call reward-based. What that means is you give the company money. In the case of Pebble Beach, they asked for $100, or Pebble Watch, they asked for $100. Then when their product came out, if you had given them the $100, they sent you a product, for no additional charge. So what that is reward-based. The other type of crowdfunding is actually to raise money, which sounded very promising at first, but now there's quite a few regulations that they've put in for crowdfunding with the SEC regulations, and it's not all that great. But reward-based funding still works. All you do is ask people to give them a certain amount of money so you can produce your product, and when you start producing your product, you send them a product. Another product that did extremely well on this reward-based funding and crowdfunding was the Coolest Cooler. Now, both of these, of course, it was a good fundraising technique, but at the same time, it really did what you wanted, which was show that the product will sell. And that's the kind of proof you need for, your manufacturer. Now, Kickstarter is not the only one of these groups on the internet. There's several others. I kind of as I say, you need an exciting product. All you really need to do is have a really good video. I mean, you really can't go onto Kickstarter or any of these sites without a good video that will really show your product in the very best light. I mean, it's really kind of low cost. It's $5,000 for video, but you can see the quality of the videos if you go and visit the Kickstarter site. Watch those videos, and you might be able to make a video for quite a bit, without spending a lot of money. As far as for the selling shares, I really don't recommend it. You need a lawyer. There's all kinds of pitfalls, but so stick to reward-based funding if at all possible. And after all, really what we're talking about this video is just getting that small beachhead market where you can prove your product will sell. Once you have that, that's what you need to take the next step and get the support you need to really start producing on a broader scale. Thanks.